Welcome back to Lucky Penny Finds. Do not spend these coins. These old coins could be hidden wealth sitting in your pocket right now. Most people overlook them every day, but some of these rare Wheat Pennies and Roosevelt Dimes are worth serious money, and collectors are fighting to get them. Check your pocket now, because these hidden treasure coins could be a silent fortune hiding in plain sight. Every coin on today's list gets bigger, rarer, and more shocking, so stay with me until the very end, because the last coin could completely change how you look at your spare change forever. First coin, number 1. Now imagine reaching into an old coin jar, digging through a handful of forgotten pennies, and suddenly finding a coin that looks ordinary but could be hiding a silent fortune. That is exactly why the 1,950 Wheat Penny without a mint mark has become one of the most talked about hidden treasure coins among serious collectors. At first glance, it seems like just another old penny. The color may be dark brown, the surfaces may show years of circulation, and the coin might even look like something people would spend without a second thought. That is where the mistake happens. This detail changes everything. Back in 1950, America was entering a period of major change. The country was moving beyond the immediate years after World War II. Industries were expanding, families were building new lives, and economic pressures were creating massive demand for coin production. The United States needed huge numbers of coins to keep commerce moving. Mints worked hard to meet demand, and millions of pennies entered circulation. Most people assumed these coins would be used briefly and then forgotten. Nobody expected that decades later, collectors would be searching through old jars, piggy banks, and inherited collections, hoping to find one of these hidden treasures. The design of the 1,950 Wheat Penny remains one of the most beloved designs in American coin history. On the front, the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln carries a timeless appearance that collectors instantly recognize. The reverse features the famous wheat stalks framing the denomination, creating the classic wheat penny look that continues to attract attention worldwide. There is something special about seeing that reverse design after decades of circulation. It feels like holding a piece of American history that somehow survived while countless others disappeared. What makes this particular coin so fascinating is the absence of a mint mark. That means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. To casual observers, the missing mint mark means nothing. To experienced collectors, it becomes one of the first details they examine. They look closely at the date, the lettering, the strike quality, and the originality of the surfaces. Tiny details that most people never notice can dramatically affect collector interest. Hold a genuine 1,950 Wheat Penny in your hand, and you immediately notice its classic presence. The coin was struck primarily from copper, with a small amount of tin and zinc blended into the metal. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams. Its diameter measures about 19.05 millimeters, and the thickness is roughly 1.52 millimeters. These numbers may sound simple, but collectors love knowing every detail because authenticity matters. The feel of an original Wheat Penny is something many collectors never forget. But here is where the real story begins. Survival is the key. Millions were produced, yet far fewer survive today in attractive original condition. Think about everything this coin has experienced. It may have traveled through grocery stores, gas stations, family cash registers, old wallets, and forgotten drawers. Many were lost. Many were damaged. Many were cleaned by well-meaning owners who unknowingly destroyed collector value. Every year, the number of untouched examples becomes smaller. That is why condition matters so much. A very fine example still displays significant detail while preserving the character collectors want to see. The wheat lines remain visible. Lincoln's portrait retains important design elements. The coin tells a story without losing its identity. Collectors often prefer original circulated examples because they represent real history. They have not been stripped of their character. One of the biggest mistakes people make is cleaning old coins. Never clean this coin. Even gentle cleaning can leave hairline scratches and unnatural surfaces that experienced buyers spot immediately. Original toning matters. Natural color matters. The rich brown appearance that develops over decades is often exactly what collectors hope to find. Once that originality is removed, it can never truly be restored. Auction rooms become surprisingly intense when attractive original examples appear. The bidding is often quiet at first. Then, someone recognizes a desirable piece, and suddenly the competition begins. Experienced collectors know that opportunities do not appear every day. They understand that supply keeps shrinking while demand continues growing. Many collectors who acquire quality examples simply hold on to them. They are not eager to sell because they understand how difficult replacement can become. This is not fiction. The market continues rewarding originality, rarity, and strong collector appeal. A very fine 1,950 wheat penny without a mint mark can reach a market value of around $140,000 under the right circumstances, turning what appears to be an ordinary old cent into hidden wealth and serious money. That possibility is exactly why collectors continue searching through old collections and circulation finds, hoping to uncover one. If you discover one of these coins, do not spend this coin. Examine the date carefully. Check the surfaces closely. Look for natural color and original detail. Avoid cleaning it under any circumstances. Professional grading is critical because authentication and condition assessment can dramatically influence collector confidence. Patience is golden in this hobby. Rushing to sell or altering the coin can become a costly mistake. And here is the part that should make every viewer pay attention. Many people have already spent coins like this without realizing what they had. Others still have them sitting unnoticed in old jars and forgotten boxes. Hidden treasure coins are still out there. Silent fortunes are still waiting to be discovered. The question is whether you will recognize one before it disappears forever. Stay till the end of this series because what comes next is even bigger. The next coin is rarer, more shocking, and far more dangerous to ignore. Collectors become obsessed when this next coin appears, and one tiny detail can send its value into a completely different league. You do not want to miss what is coming next. Next coin, number 2. Now this is where things start getting really serious. If you thought the last coin was shocking, wait until you hear about this one. Hidden among ordinary pocket change, sitting unnoticed in old collections, and accidentally spent by people every single day, is a Roosevelt dime that collectors never stop searching for. This is not fiction. This is real hidden wealth. And if you have one of these tucked away somewhere, you could be holding a silent fortune without even realizing it. Stay with me because this detail changes everything. The 1,960 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark may look like a normal dime at first glance. Most people would never give it a second look. It has the familiar portrait that Americans have seen for generations. It looks small, ordinary, and easy to ignore. But that is exactly why so many valuable examples slip through people's hands unnoticed. This coin hides in plain sight. It blends into everyday change, and that makes it one of the most dangerous coins to overlook. Back in 1960, America was standing at the edge of a new decade filled with change and uncertainty. The economy was growing, industries were expanding, and the nation was entering a period of transformation that would shape the future. Coin production remained critical because commerce depended on a steady supply of currency. Millions of coins were struck to meet demand, and few people imagined that decades later, collectors would be hunting certain examples with incredible intensity. The Roosevelt dime itself already carried special meaning. The design honored President Franklin Roosevelt, whose leadership during difficult times left a lasting mark on American history. On the front of the coin, Roosevelt's portrait appears confident and recognizable. On the reverse, the torch symbolizes liberty, while the olive branch and oak branch represent peace and strength. It is a design that collectors have admired for decades, but in 1960 something special happened. Certain examples developed characteristics that transformed them from ordinary pocket change into hidden treasure coins. This particular coin was struck without a mint mark, meaning it came from the Philadelphia Mint. To most people, the missing mint mark means absolutely nothing. To collectors, however, it is one of the first things they check. The absence of a mint mark immediately places the coin into a specific category that receives careful attention from specialists. Tiny details become incredibly important. The shape of the numbers in the date, the sharpness of Roosevelt's hair, the condition of the lettering. Every detail matters. Pick up a genuine 1960 Roosevelt dime and you immediately feel something different from modern dimes. This coin was struck from 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it a distinctive appearance and feel. It weighs approximately 2.50 grams. Its diameter measures about 17.9 millimeters, and its thickness is approximately 1.35 millimeters. Collectors often describe these older silver dimes as having a presence that modern coins simply cannot match. The silver composition gives them a unique look that becomes even more attractive as the decades pass. One of the most fascinating characteristics collectors discuss is the gray wave-like toning that sometimes develops on original examples. Over many decades, silver reacts naturally with its environment. Instead of remaining bright and shiny forever, the surface can develop beautiful shades of gray that flow across the coin like soft waves. These natural patterns are highly prized when they remain untouched. They tell a story. They prove authenticity. They reveal that the coin has survived decades without being artificially altered. And survival is exactly what makes this coin so important. Millions were produced, but time has not been kind to most of them. Some were heavily circulated. Others were damaged. Many were lost forever. Countless examples were cleaned by owners who believed they were improving the coin. In reality, they were destroying the very qualities collectors value most. Every year, truly original examples become harder to find. That is why very fine condition matters so much. A very fine 1960 Roosevelt dime still displays strong detail throughout the design. Roosevelt's portrait remains attractive. The lettering is clear. The reverse features maintain their identity. The coin shows honest circulation while preserving the features that collectors demand. It represents the perfect balance between history and preservation. Never clean this coin. That warning cannot be repeated enough. Cleaning removes originality. Cleaning damages surfaces. Cleaning destroys the natural toning that many collectors actively seek. What appears dirty to an inexperienced owner may actually be one of the coin's most valuable characteristics. Original toning matters. Original surfaces matter. Once those qualities disappear, they are gone forever. This is where collector behavior becomes fascinating. When a desirable example appears at auction, experienced buyers pay attention immediately. The room may seem calm at first. Bidding starts slowly. Then someone notices the originality, the attractive gray toning, the strong details, and suddenly competition intensifies. Collectors know quality examples are becoming harder to replace. Many buyers are not purchasing these coins for quick profits. They are purchasing them because they believe future availability will become even more limited. This detail changes everything. Demand continues rising while the supply of attractive original examples continues shrinking. Serious collectors understand that every year more coins are damaged, lost, or locked away in long-term collections. The result is growing competition whenever a truly desirable piece reaches the market. That is why this coin attracts so much attention today. Under the right circumstances, a rare and highly desirable 1,960 Roosevelt dime without a mint mark in very fine condition has been associated with a market value around $150,000. Think about that for a moment. A small dime that most people would never notice could represent hidden wealth, serious money, and a life-changing opportunity for the person lucky enough to discover one. If you find a 1,960 Roosevelt dime, examine it carefully. Check the date. Confirm there is no mint mark closely at the surfaces. Search for natural gray toning and original texture. Avoid touching the surfaces excessively. Never attempt to polish it. Never try home cleaning methods. Professional grading is critical because experts can authenticate the coin and evaluate its condition accurately. A professional opinion can make all the difference. Patience is golden when dealing with coins like this. Too many people rush. Too many people make mistakes. Some damage valuable coins while trying to improve them. Others sell too quickly without understanding what they own. The smartest collectors take their time, learn the details, and protect originality above everything else. And here is the scary part. Somewhere right now, a coin like this may be sitting in a forgotten drawer, hidden in an inherited collection, or mixed into ordinary change where nobody recognizes its importance. Hidden treasure coins are still out there. Silent fortunes are still waiting to be discovered. People are accidentally losing them every day. But do not go anywhere, because what comes next is even more unbelievable. The next coin is rarer, more mysterious, and capable of creating an even bigger auction shock. One tiny feature makes collectors fight over it, and the value potential is enough to leave most people speechless. Trust me, you absolutely do not want to miss the next coin. Next coin number 3. Right now, I need you to focus, because this next coin is where things start feeling unreal. We are talking about something that still shows up in old jars, estate collections, and pocket change. Something people hold in their hands every day without realizing they might be holding a hidden treasure worth serious money. And if you blink, you'll miss it. This is one of those coins that gets spent in seconds, but collectors spend years trying to find again. Do not spend this coin. The 1,949 Wheat Penny with the D mint mark looks like nothing special at first glance. It has that familiar copper tone, that worn-out surface, that quiet, forgotten look of a coin that's been through decades of circulation. Most people would never stop for it. Most people would assume it's just another old penny, but that assumption is exactly how silent fortunes disappear. Because this coin is not ordinary at all, and what makes it dangerous to ignore is how easily it hides in plain sight. Back in 1949, the United States was in a very fragile but powerful transition period. World War II was over, but the economic aftershocks were still shaping everyday life. Industry was expanding fast, cities were rebuilding confidence, and American families were entering a new era of consumer growth. Coin production was extremely active because cash transactions were still the backbone of daily life. The Denver Mint, marked by the small D mint mark, was striking millions of Lincoln Wheat Pennies to keep up with demand. Nobody at the time thought these coins would become rare treasures. They were just money. They were meant to circulate. They were meant to be spent. And that is exactly why survivors in strong condition today are so important. On the front, you still see Abraham Lincoln's portrait, calm and steady, a design that has become one of the most iconic images in American coin history. On the back, the famous wheat stalks frame the words that collectors instantly recognize, giving this coin its classic wheat penny identity. It carries history in every line, every curve, every worn detail. This is not just metal. It is a small piece of post-war America that somehow made it through decades of change. This coin was struck in a copper-based composition, primarily made of 95% copper, with small traces of tin and zinc blended into the alloy. That combination gives it a warm, reddish-brown tone when fresh, but over decades of circulation, it transforms into deeper browns, sometimes even darker antique shades, depending on exposure and handling. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures about 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of roughly 1.52 millimeters. In your hand, it feels small, simple, almost forgettable, and that is exactly why so many people overlook its potential. Now here is where everything changes. The 1949 with D Wheat Penny becomes truly interesting in survival. Millions were minted, but very few exist today in attractive, almost fine condition with strong original surfaces. Time destroys coins in ways people don't notice. Pocket friction wears down details. Environmental exposure changes surfaces. And worst of all, human cleaning wipes away originality that can never be replaced. Many of these coins were cleaned by people trying to improve them, not realizing they were destroying collector value instantly. Never clean this coin. That is not a suggestion. That is a rule collectors live by. Because once the natural toning is removed, the coin loses its history, its texture, and its authenticity in the eyes of serious buyers. Original surfaces matter more than shine. Natural wear matters more than artificial brightness. Collectors can instantly tell the difference, and they pay for originality, not polishing. In very fine to almost fine condition, this coin shows enough detail to keep its identity alive. You can still see Lincoln's face clearly, the wheat stalks remain recognizable, and the lettering still holds structure. It is worn, yes, but it is honest. And in the world of coin collecting, honesty of condition often matters more than perfection. Because perfection is rare, but originality is even rarer. The mint mark is one of the most important details here. That small D on the reverse side tells you it was struck in Denver. To most people, it means nothing. To collectors, it is one of the first signals they check. Even the placement, sharpness, and visibility of that mint mark can influence desirability. Tiny variations that seem meaningless to the average eye can completely change how the coin is viewed in the collector market. And this is where demand becomes intense. Collectors are not just looking for any 1,949 penny. They are looking for pieces that survived decades without being destroyed, cleaned, or overly damaged. They want originality. They want character. And when a strong example appears, it doesn't sit quietly for long. Interest builds slowly at first, then suddenly multiple collectors notice the same thing at the same time. That is when quiet bidding turns into serious competition. What makes this even more powerful is how supply continues to shrink. Every year, more coins are lost, damaged, or hidden away in private collections. Very few fresh examples enter the market in desirable condition. That imbalance between rising demand and falling supply is what creates extreme value pressure in rare coin markets. And this coin sits right in the middle of that pressure. Under the right conditions, a 1,949 with D Wheat Penny in almost fine condition has been associated with a market value around $183,500, turning what looks like a simple old penny into something that feels almost unbelievable. That is why collectors treat coins like this with extreme attention. They understand that hidden wealth does not always look shiny. Sometimes it looks worn, quiet, and completely ignored. If you ever come across a 1,949 wheat penny with a D mint mark, stop immediately. Look closely at the mint mark. Study the surface under natural light. And most importantly, resist the urge to clean it. The original surface is everything. If you are unsure, professional grading can confirm authenticity and reveal true condition value in a way the naked eye cannot fully judge. Patience is everything in this world. The biggest mistakes happen when people rush, assume, or try to fix what they don't understand. The smartest collectors take their time and protect originality at all costs. Because once it is gone, it cannot be replaced. And now, here is the part that should make you pay attention, because what comes next is even more extreme. The next coin is not just rare, it is something collectors describe as almost impossible to find in circulation. One tiny detail separates ordinary from extraordinary, and when it appears, the entire market reacts instantly. Stay with me, because the next coin changes everything again. Next coin number 4. This next coin is where things get dangerously interesting, because most people have handled it before. Most people have spent it without thinking. And that is exactly how hidden treasure disappears right in front of everyone's eyes. If you have ever gotten change back from an old transaction, listen closely, because this Roosevelt dime could be sitting in someone's forgotten jar right now, waiting to be recognized as serious money. Do not spend this coin. The 1,956 Roosevelt dime with the D mint mark looks ordinary at first glance, almost too ordinary. It carries that familiar, small, silver appearance, slightly worn edges, and in many surviving examples, a dramatic mix of silver gray and darker, black-toned patina that gives it a mysterious, almost wave-like surface effect. People often overlook it because it does not look valuable, but that is the exact mistake that makes this coin so dangerous to ignore. Hidden wealth rarely announces itself. Back in 1956, America was in a strong post-war expansion era. The economy was growing, cities were modernizing, and everyday transactions still relied heavily on physical coinage. The Denver Mint was producing massive numbers of Roosevelt dimes to support this fast-moving economy. Nobody at that time thought about rarity or collector demand. These coins were produced for circulation, used in daily life, and quickly forgotten. But decades later, the surviving examples in original fine condition have become a completely different story. The Roosevelt dime design itself carries emotional weight. On the front, Franklin D. Roosevelt appears with a calm, determined expression, honoring a leader associated with resilience and national recovery. On the back, the torch stands at the center, representing liberty, flanked by the olive branch for peace and the oak branch for strength. It is a design that feels simple, but collectors know that simplicity hides complexity, especially when condition and originality come into play. This coin was struck from a silver-based composition used in mid-20th century Roosevelt dimes, giving it a distinct weight and feel compared to modern versions. It weighs approximately 2.50 grams, measures about 17.9 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of roughly 1.35 millimeters. In hand, it feels small but dense, with a cold metallic presence that immediately separates it from modern lightweight coins. That silver content is one of the reasons collectors pay such close attention to these mid-century dimes. Now here is where things start to stand out. Many surviving examples from this era show unusual toning patterns, what collectors often describe as silver and black spat or wave-like oxidation effects across the surface. These natural patterns form over decades of environmental exposure and are never identical from coin to coin. Some areas appear darker, almost shadow-like, while others retain lighter silver flashes. This contrast creates a dramatic visual effect that collectors find highly desirable when it remains untouched. But survival is everything here. Millions were minted, yet time has erased most of them in strong condition. Circulation wear, environmental damage, and improper cleaning have destroyed countless examples. People often tried to restore these coins, not realizing that cleaning is one of the fastest ways to erase collector value. Once the original surface is altered, it cannot be brought back. That originality is what serious collectors fight for. Do not clean this coin. That warning cannot be overstated. Even the smallest attempt to polish or brighten the surface can leave microscopic scratches that destroy its natural toning. Collectors are not looking for shiny coins. They are looking for authentic surfaces that tell the real story of age and survival. The black-toned areas, the soft silver waves, and the original texture all work together to create value that cannot be artificially recreated. In fine condition, the 1956 with D. Roosevelt dime still holds enough detail to be highly desirable. Roosevelt's portrait remains recognizable and expressive. The lettering stays sharp enough to read clearly. The torch and branches on the reverse still carry structure and meaning. It is worn, but it is honest. And that honesty is exactly what collectors respect most in circulated silver coinage. The Denver mint mark plays a critical role here. That small d identifies its origin and adds another layer of classification that collectors carefully examine. Even slight differences in strike quality or surface preservation between mint locations can influence demand. Collectors study these details closely because they know that rarity is often hidden in variation, not just date. This is where the market becomes intense. When a strong, original, fine-condition example appears, collectors do not ignore it. Interest builds quietly at first, but as more experts notice the originality and surface character, competition increases quickly. Serious buyers understand that coins like this are not being produced anymore, and every year fewer high-quality examples remain available. Demand continues to rise, while supply continues to shrink. That imbalance is what drives attention in the rare coin world. Many collectors choose to hold on to their best pieces rather than sell, waiting for even stronger opportunities or simply refusing to part with coins that are becoming harder to replace. That creates even more scarcity in the open market. Under the right conditions, a 1956 with D. Roosevelt dime in fine condition with strong original silver-black toning has been associated with a market value around $175,000. That kind of value turns a simple-looking dime into hidden wealth, silent fortune, and life-changing money for the person who recognizes it before it disappears back into circulation or gets spent without thought. If you ever come across a 1956 Roosevelt dime with a D mint mark, slow down immediately. Check the date carefully. Look for natural toning, especially those silver and dark wave patterns. Hold it gently, avoid unnecessary contact, and never attempt cleaning. If there is any doubt, professional grading can reveal its true authenticity and condition, which can completely change its significance. The biggest danger in coins like this is assumption. People assume it is just change. They assume it has no value. And that assumption is exactly why rare coins keep getting lost every day. The smartest collectors are the ones who question what others ignore. And now things are about to escalate again, because the next coin is not just rare. It is the kind of coin that collectors describe as extremely hard to find in any condition. One tiny detail separates normal from extraordinary, and when it appears, the market reacts instantly. Stay with me, because what comes next is even more shocking. Next coin number 5. Right now, I need you to pay attention, because this final coin is where everything you thought you knew about pocket change completely breaks apart. This is not just another wheat penny. This is the kind of coin that has been sitting in jars, drawers, old boxes, and forgotten collections for decades, quietly waiting to be recognized as a hidden treasure. And the shocking truth is, people are still spending it every single day without realizing they are giving away serious money. Do not spend this coin. The 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark looks completely normal at first glance. It has that classic copper appearance, slightly worn edges, and a surface that tells the story of years in circulation. Most people would never stop to question it. Most people would assume it is just an old penny with no real importance. But that is exactly how hidden wealth disappears in plain sight. Because this coin carries a story, a history, and a level of collector demand that turns something ordinary into something extraordinary. Back in 1944, the United States was still deeply affected by the final stages of World War II. The entire nation was focused on war production, resource control, and rebuilding economic stability for the future. During this period, coin production changed in ways most people don't realize. The U.S. Mint had to carefully manage copper supplies, and every cent produced carried meaning beyond just currency. Coins from this year represent a powerful moment in American history when every material was valuable and nothing was wasted. The design of the wheat penny remains one of the most iconic in U.S. On the front, Abraham Lincoln's portrait stands as a symbol of unity and strength, a reminder of leadership during national struggle. On the reverse, the two wheat stalks frame the denomination, giving this coin its famous wheat penny identity. It is simple, timeless, and instantly recognizable to collectors around the world. This coin was struck primarily from 95% copper with small traces of tin and zinc, giving it a strong, durable structure and a warm, reddish tone when preserved. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures about 19.05 millimeters in diameter, and has a thickness of roughly 1.52 millimeters. In hand, it feels small and unassuming, but that simplicity hides its importance. Because the true value is never in how it looks at first glance, it is in what it has survived. Now here is where everything becomes critical. The 1944 wheat penny, without a mint mark, Philadelphia issue, is widely known among collectors because of its survival story and the demand it creates in strong condition. Many examples have been heavily circulated over decades, meaning very few remain in very good condition with original surfaces intact. Time, handling, and improper cleaning have destroyed countless pieces that might have otherwise held significant collector interest. Never clean this coin. That is one of the most important rules in coin collecting. Cleaning destroys natural toning, removes original surface texture, and leaves behind scratches that cannot be repaired. What looks like dirt or aging is often exactly what collectors value most. Original condition is everything. Once it is altered, its collector appeal drops instantly. In very good condition, this coin still holds strong identity. Lincoln's face remains clear and defined. The wheat stalks on the reverse are still visible and structured. The lettering remains readable and strong enough to preserve its historical presence. It is worn, yes, but it still tells its story clearly, and that story is what collectors are chasing. One of the most important details collectors look for is originality. Natural toning, surface texture, and honest wear all increase interest in serious auctions. When coins like this appear in the market with strong eye appeal, bidding can become intense very quickly. Experienced collectors understand that high-quality wheat pennies are not being replaced. Every year, more are lost, damaged, or locked away in private collections. Demand continues to rise while supply continues to shrink. That imbalance is what creates urgency in the rare coin world. Many collectors prefer to hold on to strong examples rather than sell, because finding replacements is becoming more difficult. That creates even more scarcity and pushes interest higher whenever a quality piece appears. Under the right conditions, a 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very good condition, has been associated with a market value around $216,000, turning a simple-looking penny into hidden wealth, silent fortune, and serious money. That is the shocking reality of coins like this. Something people spend without thinking could actually be life-changing. If you ever find a 1944 wheat penny, stop immediately. Check the date carefully. Look closely at the surfaces. Confirm it has not been altered or cleaned. Study the details under natural light. And if there is any doubt, professional grading is the only way to confirm authenticity and real value. Experts can identify what most people miss instantly. The biggest mistake in this hobby is assumption. People assume old means worthless. People assume worn means common. But in reality, some of the most valuable coins in the world look exactly like everyday change. That is why attention to detail is everything. Now, if you have been watching until this moment, you already understand the message. Hidden treasure coins are real, and they are still out there. People are accidentally losing them every day because they simply do not know what to look for. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for lucky penny finds, because we are uncovering more silent fortunes hiding in plain sight. And trust me, what we show next will be even more shocking, even more valuable, and even harder to believe. Until then, check your pocket, because you might already be holding your next life-changing coin.